Welcome to Southeast Asia English Business Program, Fortune Express. I'm Visna, your host for today. Fortune Express launches the fourth episode of Innovation and Startup Special Series. This episode, we will focus more on innovation and startup entrepreneurship in Beijing, China, and Southeast Asia. Beijing is the most prominent technology hub and is one of the best places to build up your startup in the market, while other Asian cities are competing to woo tech startup with incentive. Fortune Express has visited co-working places and business incubators around Southeast Asia, as well as in Beijing, to report on the environment of the innovation and startup entrepreneurship. China has risen as a startup leader in the Asia-Pacific region since the establishment of special economic zones, and the capital city of China, Beijing, has grown to be the largest startup ecosystem in the country. Meanwhile, the cities in Asia that has succeeded in attracting a steady stream of venture capital and startups have relatively strong economies, highly educated populations, and well-developed infrastructures. To stay competitive, these cities also offer a range of tax incentives, subsidies, and related programs to support entrepreneurs. Today, Fortune Express launches the third episode of Innovation and Startup Entrepreneurship Series. In Beijing, our interview group visited ZhongGuanCun, which is referred to the China Silicon Valley. Among them, ZhongGuanCun in Norway Street opened in 2014. It used to be just a street for buying and selling books. After the renovation and upgrading, it has now become a global innovation hub. In ZhongGuanCun, in Norway Street, we have the interview with the mentor of the startup Green American, which is the largest independent startup community. A co-founder of Touchdown Career, which focused on education system, a founder and CEO of Popular Robotics, as well as young startup at Beijing City, China. Zhou Yubo, activity manager of Garage INCUBATE, China's earliest entrepreneurial space. Why Beijing attracting more and more startup and foreign company? How does local government provide incentive to the foreign investor or startup visa to student? What are their perspective on Asian region in terms of startup and development? Startup Green is the largest independent startup community, actively educating, inspiring, and connecting more than 2 million entrepreneurs in over 600 chapters. Startup Green nurtures startup ecosystem in more than 125 countries through events, media, and partnership with organizations like Google for Startups. Touchdown Career is a professional human resources consulting company under the Touchdown Education brand, which specializes in international talent hunting and training. Today, we will bring you to the special insight from mentor of Startup Green, co-founder of Touchdown Career, Mr. AJ Warner, why he volunteered to share his insight at Beijing. What is his perspective on the startup there?
Well, my name's AJ Warner. I'm from Los Angeles, California originally, but I've been in Beijing for 14 years. I've started a number of companies here, mostly in the education area. So when I first came to China, I opened a number of different businesses, and then what I found where my skill sets could help me stand out was in the education field. So I built businesses around education, and we've been very successful. And for the last, 8 years, I've been part of the Entrepreneurs organization. It's a global organization. I was the chapter president here in Beijing for a number of years. Now I'm just an active member working on growing my business that I've been growing in the United States now. So I'm based here and growing the business in the United States. Well, the reason why I volunteered to come out and share my insights is because years ago I was a startup company and there was no one around to help. You're sort of on your own. These days, a lot of young people want to start companies, they want to make an impact, and if someone can give them advice and share their own experiences, it can jumpstart them, help them to launch their business faster, make an impact on society even quicker. So it's my way of giving back, and it's something that I really enjoy because I like to help people. That's why I'm in the education industry, and helping younger entrepreneurs is something that makes me feel really good. I think a startup company is difficult, especially for someone who hasn't done it before. For someone who's done startups before, it becomes easier over time because you know what to expect, you know what you did well and what you didn't do well, and you've learned from it. But for these young people, they maybe never pitched before, they've never been in front of VCs before, They may have actually never even started a business before. So they don't really know what's important. There's lots of gaps. It's easy to make a nice PowerPoint, but there's certain things that investors are looking for. And I was trying to point out those things. There was one presentation where I felt the most important thing they didn't do. They're coming in with all the beautiful things they're going to do, but they haven't actually tested if it's actually legal to do what they want. And that's something you need to do, because if you don't spend your time on the most important things, you end up spending a lot of time on the wrong things, and you waste a lot of time. And then when you start to do the real important things, you find out that maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's not feasible. And so all the effort you did was wrong. It's more important to focus on the most important things first. Is it feasible? Is it not feasible? And then once you know it's feasible, then invest the time in the next steps. So I was strict with them because I wanted to help them. I think money is important for every company. When you run out of money, your business closes. Now, if your startup cannot make money or doesn't have a clear plan to make money, no one's going to invest in your company. Investors want to make money. Now, they have different ways to make money. They have their own strategy to make money. But if your business can't show how it's going to make money today, tomorrow, next year, it's very difficult to be a sustainable business. It's very difficult to get investors to want to give you money because they don't know how they're going to get their money out. So having a good business model is critical for a startup. Now, it may take a lot of investment before your business model takes off, but you at least have a clear idea, a clear path to how eventually your company is going to make money. Well, especially in China, there's a lot of money chasing deals. So if you have a good idea and you have a good team, it's actually not that difficult to get venture capital. Not necessarily you do want to get venture capital. Venture capital, you're giving away your equity, you're giving away maybe too early in your company. Maybe it's better to hold on longer. Maybe get other types of investors. But to get VC money, you need to be able to show them that you're going to scale. You need to be able to show them that with that money, you're going to be able to grow the company and be able to make more revenue. May not be profitable, but you can grow your revenues. You can bring your products to market, but you need to show them that you're going to be able to do something with that money that's going to help make this company more valuable. Where in China, companies will just move super fast, much faster than I think anywhere else in the world. And that makes it really tough in China. You have to be committed to working long hours, maybe even sleeping at your desk.
Continuing on, based on the experience on his business model and startup company, how does he comment on Southeast Asia development of tech startup, infrastructure, and new entrepreneurs such as Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, and Cambodia?
I've been to Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore. I found Malaysia very nice. I really enjoyed it. The people were great. I'm in an entrepreneur organization, so I met lots of entrepreneurs in Malaysia, and they were great. They have amazing companies, they're doing great stuff. Vietnam, I went there with entrepreneurs, but I didn't meet that many entrepreneurs on that trip. I've been there twice. But there's a lot of energy. You can feel lots of positive energy in Vietnam. It's like a China 30 years ago. People are excited. The people are doing interesting things, and they're getting ready for something great. And a lot of companies are moving down there. Just the infrastructure needs a lot of work. I think in Vietnam, the infrastructure isn't there. And I encourage Cambodia to spend a lot of money on the infrastructure because that makes a big difference. But the energy level is great in Southeast Asia. People are excited. People have a role model of China. They can see what can happen, and people want it, and they're willing to work hard. I don't know enough about the problems in Cambodia, but no doubt there's many opportunities because it's a new market, it's a growing market, and the people have more and more money. As people have more money, it opens doors to different services, and those services create money, and you get the money multiplier effect. So as long as people are solving problems and creating solutions, new opportunities will open up, and the economy will grow, and more people will have opportunities to bring their own innovative ideas to society and make society better and better. So I hope more and more people in Cambodia, more entrepreneurs in Cambodia, continue to innovate and continue to come up with great products that attract the attention of people from around the world. Like I know in my organization, my entrepreneurs organization, recently they started a chapter in Cambodia. So I met the founder of that new chapter, and there's more and more entrepreneurs that are being successful that want to interact with the world, because this EO organization is a global organization. I mean, same thing happened in China 30 years ago. There wasn't people here to do internet startup. And even at the very beginning, it was mostly returnees from Chinese coming back from the United States. Now it's all, the people are here, they're learning, they don't need people from overseas anymore. And the same thing will happen in Cambodia over time, as long as people continue to grow and to learn and to help each other. It definitely all comes back to supporting each other to see the entire economy grow.
Welcome back. More and more students and startup companies travel to Beijing for study and doing a business startup. Why would they like to go there, and what is the Chinese government's offer to foreigners?
Yeah, my name is Katrina. I came from Ukraine and I'm doing master's degree in Beijing China in Beihang University. So I'm one of the member startup grant university here, and we just held an event for startups who are like students. Yeah, that's my second year. So almost like 1.5 years, on almost 2. I love atmosphere of young people who are striving to do amazing, sometimes for some people impossible thing. And I love how they are doing that. I'm intern in one startup, and I love this atmosphere when people they are working like 24 hours per day. They have their goals. Their goal is actually change the world. It's not only because of money. For sure, it's about money, but that's about like changing the world all the time. It's about impact. It's about history. That you're one of the person who are writing the history right now, and who knows, maybe one of these guys they're just gonna do that. Yeah.
I'm Yasser, and I'm from India, and I'm in China for 2 years now, and I'm doing a startup people saw today called Akadu. Akadu is doing live streaming and live translation for events right now, and we have big plans in the future. I think China is a really good place to do a startup because I don't know about other countries very much, but Chinese government is providing a startup visa to students, and even if you're a student, you can do a startup in China by getting a startup visa. The local government of Haidian is doing that, so I think it's one of the best places to do startup. I think it was awesome, the event. There were really good startups there, and the last speaker did a very nice speech on how to improve your efficiency, and I think it's something everybody needs. No matter how good you are, you always space to improve. So I think it's a really good place. So we're 6 core team members, and we have a lot of interns also. So total 6 core members, and then total is 17, including the interns. So it's a big team, yet a small team.
Welcome back to Fortune Express. Popular Robotic is an innovative tech startup with the mission to help people adapt to new era, come closer to robots of all kinds, and share their experiences with others. Today we have special interview with Mr. Sotirios Sansinopoulos, founder CEO of Popular Robotic headquartered Beijing. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Sotirios Sansinopoulos. I come from Greece. I've been in China for about 8 years now. I studied Chinese. I did my PhD in automation and robotics. I'm a robotics engineer myself. I worked in robotics industry here in China, and about 8 months ago I started my own startup. It's a robotics startup. It's called Popular Robotics. And what we do is we're trying to make robotics accessible to everybody. So we're trying at first to help people educate themselves about robotics. So we're at first targeting high school students that are about to start their careers or their academic careers, to help them get closer to robotics, get in touch with robotic hardware, how to program, and after that, just if they wish to, they can become, they can study that more or use it in their professional lives. But we do believe that everybody needs to have some exposure to robotics. So we're trying to facilitate the schools at this stage to teach robotics. So I do believe that China is at this stage of its progress is a very ideal place for new ideas, new startups. Why? Because it's, as I said, they have good educational background already. I wouldn't say maybe it's like the top in the world, but because there are so many universities, there are so many students at this stage of higher education, you can find people that have the know-how to do things. And as I said, it's been supported by the government. So, for instance, a lot of new startups have been founded in the last 5 years in China because the government supports it and funnels more money, and there are more investors that are willing to take the risk to support new businesses. For me in specific, I came here to study more Chinese because I was very interested in the language, and then I saw that China has this fertile environment for starting a new business, and also specifically for us, since we're doing robotics education. Education is a field that is booming now in China. First of all, and second of all, the government also supports high-level education and high-tech education. So they're trying to introduce more coding and more robotics or maker education into their educational system. So we believe that it is a good place to start. I mean, we do plan to go global because we want our courses to be available to everybody. So we're going to do online courses as well in the future. But we start with China because China is mature for accepting these courses right now. It is definitely harder to start a startup here in China or in countries that you don't know exactly how the system works or the language is not your language. I'm fortunate enough, or let's say I've worked hard enough to be able to be quite fluent in Chinese, so I can communicate and have no real problems when it comes to communication. But there are a lot of other problems that could occur in the meantime. So there are specific processes that are much easier to accomplish if you are Chinese. So a lot of registrations, a lot of procedures with official offices that if you're Chinese, they're just very simple to resolve. If you're a foreigner, for instance, you may need to have to input like an ID number, which is only owned by Chinese people, right? You cannot use your passport number. So there are some very little difficulties, but they make many steps harder than it is for a Chinese national to start a business. Apart from that, it is true that at this stage, Chinese investors are kind of more reluctant to invest in foreign businesses. They feel safer to invest in, let's say, Chinese-owned businesses. This has some basis because they're afraid, okay, you're a foreigner, you may leave, and I may lose my money. Not in the sense that you will take the money and go, in the sense that you want to leave China at one stage or another, right? So you're not going to fight so much for your company. If you're a Chinese person, maybe it's here's your life. You're not going to go away. You're always going to keep on persisting. So they feel more comfortable with the Chinese like businessman or company. But lucky enough, we have entered an incubator. So there are some good incubators or accelerators that help a lot of startups start and then grow to much larger scales. So we believe China right now, and specifically Beijing, has a good ecosystem that helps new companies start. So there are difficulties, as I said, and some licenses, maybe they're not so easy to get, but also you have now like a lot of, let's say, incubators or a lot of government-supported agencies that help new companies and also companies started by foreigners.
In order to explore more about the historical and the developing country, Mr. Sotiris Sinopoulos has been visited Cambodia 2 times already. What is his perspective on the development in Cambodia? How did he suggest to the young startups?
I was in Cambodia. this spring festival. Yeah, I was there for 10 days, really nice. Yeah, but as I said, I want to learn more about the Cambodian customs, but I was there. I've been there 2 times. It was 3 years ago. I just went to Korong Samrai, and then I went like this February. I went there. I went to Phnom Penh and then to Siem Reap. I think it's a very beautiful country. It's just not developed yet. Like it's not very developed. You know, there are some facts about the history that I thought they were a bit shocking. But apart from that, I see that the people have suffered a lot, and they're really trying to improve their lives, and everybody's very friendly, and they're trying to move past the whole problems with from the history side. But now, like, it seems that things are moving forward, so I'm glad for that. But still needs to be more developed a bit. Yeah, I think. Definitely, you as a country, if you want to have more startups, you definitely need some more resources to begin with. So why, for instance, the big wave of startups started from the United States? Because they already had quite high income, like a GDP, and then they had already a good educational system that could produce all this creativity and all this sort of entrepreneurial thinking. So that's why it started from there. Now you can see it sparking maybe in China a lot, because China also has a lot of money and pushes a lot of money into new businesses, and the government is also supporting that. So I think that for Cambodia, it has to happen in a similar way. Although it's not as big country as the United States or China, it can definitely use its resources to try to give opportunities to the young people to start new businesses. So first of all, try to link it with good educational system, and then the government should also try to support it in a way that people see it. You know, it's not only to have some programs that are just there lying in somebody's like drawer and people don't understand it. So it needs to be visible that the government is supporting entrepreneurship, and in that way people will start let's say start to dare more, because to start a startup is actually scary, you know. So you need to encourage people to do it. So as in the States, like, people needed to be encouraged to start new startups. It was a whole ecosystem. In China now, like, the government is pushing it and is giving a lot of money into that. So I think that if Cambodia also wants to have more and more entrepreneur efforts from young people, the government also needs to make it clear that it's a priority for the government. So I do believe that Cambodia, of course, should go into the road of entrepreneurship, but it should be founded on some good educational premises and also governmental support.
Apple, HP, Disney, they originated from the American garage entrepreneurial culture in ZhongGuanCun in Norway in Beijing, China. We interviewed China's earliest entrepreneurial space, Garage Incubate. What is changing in the entrepreneurial environment in Beijing, China? Finally, let's follow the camera and see our interview team entrepreneurial visit in Beijing.
车务咖啡呢，可以说是中国最老牌的这样一个综合类的这样一个孵化器。然后我们是在2011年成立，到2019年已经发展了8年。在这8年里面，我们也是服务了中国非常庞大的这样一个创业者群体，大概是有10万家团队的这样一个体量。然后在这10万家呢，真正走出来的，或者说是得到融资的呢，大概是有300家左右。比如说像现在中国人用的比较多的，像美团，包括滴滴、饿了么，然后包括咱现在中国人每天都会用的这个微信支付，也是从我们这里走出去的一些企业。现在是在全国我们有14家的分店，然后但是最开始的起源呢是在北京，就在中关村。然后这条大街呢，最开始也不叫中关村创业大街，它最开始叫海淀图书城。然后正是因为有了车库咖啡，然后才有了这条大街。像车库这个概念是源于美国，像美国的 IBM 包括乔布斯，他们最开始都是在车库做自己想要做的事情，然后也都是从车库起家。 然后我们车库的定位呢，也是帮助中国的这些草根创业者。我们服务的这个群体，它是各行各业都有，他们做任何项目的也有。那你说像我们这种服务人员，他不可能是做到面面俱到。我们更多的说是用我们一套，因为我们看的项目很多，我们有自己的这样一套通用的商业逻辑，然后针对于这些创业者，给他们提供一些合理性的建议。说是也只能说是建议，因为真正意义上的帮助，我觉得就是尽我们所能。但是我们做的更多的事情呢，是打造这样一个平台。这个平台里会有创业者，然后会有投资人，也会有第三方，然后创业者也好，投资人也好，第三方也好，他们在我们这样的一个平台里会相互交流碰撞，产生出最终他们想要得到的东西。对，像我们车库呢，基本上是每周都会有这样一个常态化的活动，更多的是创业者通过站在台前，就是在这个位置分享自己的项目，然后聊自己的想法，或者说是介绍自己的新产品。底下更多的做的其实也是创业者，但是也会有一些投资人。通过交流和沟通的这个过程呢，他们会碰撞出一些不管说是思想上，或者说是项目发展方向上的一些有效的一些帮助吧。还会每周3会有这样的一个驻场律师服务，因为创业它除了要做项目，你必不可少的是要围绕你的这个企业运营涉及到工商财法税，就是这很多板块的事情。然后我们每周3呢也会针对于创业者提供这样的一个驻场律师的服务。就比如说你在企业运营中涉及到任何法律问题，我们也会在这样的一个平台给各位创业者提供这样一个免费的解答啊。然后像每周4我们也会有这样的一场创业沙龙。说是沙龙呢，其实更多的是通过我们孵化器，通过我们这些创孵工作人员和这些创业者日常沟通交流中产生的问题，结合这些问题呢，我们会定向的去寻找相应的资源，给创业者。创业这个事情，它本身来讲，它是一个九死一生的事情。为什么3年前这里的创业者非常年轻？因为大家都是满怀着一腔热血，觉得自己能做一番事业。很多人只是带着梦想来到车库咖啡，但是他们通过在时间的洗礼过程中，或者说是通过他们所做的事情，经过了市场上的实际验证之后，他发现他所做的事情并不能像他预期所想的那样去如期进行。慢慢的经过这样一个时间的筛选，这些年轻的创业者认识到了自己的不足，等待着一个合适的机会，等到他们时机成熟的时候，可能他们再会去创业。像创业它并不是说是简单的你要把你的项目做好。在中国的这样一个环境里，你不但要把你的项目做好，而且你还要懂得工商财法税，就是这所有的这些环节。因为说句实话，企业就2条路，要不然你把它做得更大，要不然它就死掉了。
45 entrepreneurial service organizations here, including Garage Incubate, 3W Coffee, KR Space, Dark House, over 50 large enterprises, more than 50 universities, and more than 2,000 venture capital institutions are all gathering here. WeWork is one of the largest co-working spaces in the world. During the trip to Beijing, Fortune Express came to WeWork Beijing Fang, China. Built in late Qing dynasty of China, Beijing Fang has a long history of nearly 120 years. There are many historical and cultural buildings there. It also adjacent to the famous cultural sites such as the Palace Museum and the National Grand Theater and the National Museum of China. The location gives Beijing Fang a unique sense of modernism. The building where WeWork is located has a history of 120 years. It was once a gold shop in the late Qing dynasty. WeWork renovated and restored this ancient building, but retained the original Chinese appearance and interior. The interior of the building is full of artistic and technological innovation atmosphere, which helps the entrepreneurs focus more on efficient work and gives them more inspirations. 3W Coffee started from the first crowdfunding cafe in China in 2011. It has built an entrepreneurial service ecosystem on cafe, entrepreneurial spaces, funds, talent recruitment, training, and communication. Under the background of the active transformation of real estate, the needs of the office groups, and transformation of the office organization forms, 3W has established and operated 13 office community in more than 10 big cities including Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. With a total area of 40,000 square meters, it provides more than 5,000 office cubicles and fully support new office needs such as mobile offices and cross-city resources collaborations. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for the next episode. If you have any comments and ideas, please keep us posted via our official Facebook page, Fortune Express, and WeChat, or call our hotline. See you.